Alright, say your name, apartment number, and how long you've lived here.
My name's Nick Skardarasy. I live in apartment 2, and I've lived there for about a little over 4 years with Hannah. Hannah and I have lived together.
Oh, Jesus. I'm Carlton Wilborn, and I'm apartment 8, and I've been here for 6.5 years.
It's Diane Gronwald, apartment 6. I've lived here for 30 years.
My name is Chris.
I'm Cindy.
And we've lived in apartment number 4 for 3 years now.
I'm Lem. This is apartment... Am I supposed to say the apartment number?
Yes.
Yeah, apartment 7. And I've been here close to 25 years. About 25 years.
And my name is Maya. And I have lived here with Lem for 4 years.
How well would you say you know your neighbors, very quickly?
Pretty well. I think so. We've gotten closer in quarantine and this pandemic, which has been really nice. More than I've ever known any set of neighbors.
Cool. Why are you doing this? Hey, I'm so excited to introduce your friend, your neighbor, everyone we love, Mr. Nick Skardarasy.
Thank you so much. Woo! Wow, I'll put this here, huh? Oh my gosh, thank you. Wow, that's very I've said nothing, but thank you so much. Very cool. How is everybody? How's everybody doing? Good? Good. All right. I know that it's kind of weird to ask how people are doing during a pandemic, so thank you. It sounds great that you're all cheering, Everybody's got the same answer. Everyone's like, bad. I'm doing bad. A little up and down here and there. Yeah, I've had a weird pandemic so far. My girlfriend and I, we've lived in this building with a lot of you guys for 4 years. And, we've been handling it, I think, pretty well. We've been communicating a lot more. We got a puppy. We're living in harmony. It's just great, right? And then the other day, she accidentally called me Mom. That was a weird moment for our relationship. You know what I mean? I didn't expect that. I don't know if you guys ever heard pure regret in your life before. She was in the other room and she went, "Hey, Mom." Oh, no. And I was so mad at first. I was like, I can't believe she'd say that about me. You know what I mean? How could she think that? I'm so disappointed in her. And then I was like, man, I'm sort of reacting to this like a mom would, I guess I do kind of give off a mom energy now that I think about it. I do. I think I do. It makes kind of sense. Because I don't really fit in well with guys. I haven't. Not the guys that live in this building. You're all wonderful. I mean that. I really do. Men in general, though, I struggle with. I do. Men are intense. You know what I mean? Has anyone here ever had alcohol with a man before? That's a crazy time if you're sensitive, okay? It is nuts. And they like the grossest stuff, too. I can't even fit in, scotch. Oh, what is going on there? Guys are always like, do you like that smoky wooden finish? What the fuck does that mean? You know what I mean? Are we talking about a drink or a patio? I have no idea. Never once in my life have I been like, you know what? I was kind of tired of cherries and berries. Do you guys have any soot? Yeah. I'm looking for a campfire soot taste. I want to ruin my night. Do you have that? I wince whenever I drink liquor. That sucks if you're a boy amongst men. That's never fun, Because guys get threatened by my weakness. You know what I mean? Every time I wince, guys are always like, no, bro, what? Bro, that's good stuff. That should go down smooth. No. Okay? You know what goes down smooth? Milk. Or water. Or a warm tea. Not fucking scotch.
I have picked up no new hobbies during quarantine. All I do is the same thing as every other day is Facebook all day long, along with Netflix and MSNBC. I still watch mysteries. I love mysteries, especially British ones. And I just need that lightweight humorous aspect of certain things. I get to leaven the seriousness of the daily news.
Bad neighbor. Bad neighbor.
I pee sitting down. Let's talk about it. Let's have some fun. You're going to learn a lot about me this evening, neighbor, so strap in, all right? I do. I love to do it. It's great. I did it before quarantine started, okay? If you're peeing standing up during this, I don't understand. You sit down, you know? You have nowhere to go. Relax. It's fine, you know? I don't get the reverence guys have for that. In guy culture, if you need to take a shit, men are like, oh my God, welcome. We have this stall. We have this porcelain toilet for you, okay? We have paper if you need it. We've got a door with a lock. Take your time, have fun. Welcome to Shay's stall, okay? But if you need to pee, guys are always like, oh, stand in front of your peers and perform, yes? Take out your sword, my liege. It's crazy. And guys are always so embarrassed by that, so they always stand as close as they can to the urinal. Close enough, by the way, that piss is blasting back onto their pants. It's gross. It's great. And we wonder why men are so angry all the time. Your pants are covered in pee-pee, you know? No one has ever made a rational decision with pee pants on, you know? We gotta relax. I really do. I think this is a great time for men to just kind of like calm down in general and sort of reevaluate, you know? Because we've been doing the same thing for thousands of years and it's not working. So we gotta figure that out, you know? We're too aggressive. Like, I got into a road rage incident before this started, which I lost up top. I think we all know that, but I lost my incident. So I was driving into work, right, and I had the inside lane, and there was a car on the outside lane. And he put his blinker on to merge into my lane, right? And I'm very sweet and kind, so I slowed down. I gave him room, but he didn't take the spot. So I said, okay. So then I sped up. And as I was speeding up, he put his blinker on and merged into my lane again. And at this point, I was like, okay, I can dance this tango too, motherfucker. Right? So I did a crazy move. I slowed down a lot. I gave him a wide berth. Maybe he needed that. He responded by also slowing down a lot. So now we're both driving very slowly, parallel. Right? And I did that thing, you know when you like whisper yell in your car but you're alone? Has anyone ever done that? I was here and I was like, what are you doing? Take the spot. I slowed down. Take the spot. His window was rolled up. He was ignoring me. So I was like, fine, I have places to be. So I sped up. And then he sped up next to me. And I could tell that his window was now lowered. And he was definitely yelling unkind things towards me, right? But I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of looking over at him. I am a proud Subaru owner, and we don't do that in the Subaru family. No, we are the Peace Corps of cars, okay? So I ignored him, and I pulled into my place of work. And I remember, like, vividly thinking to myself, wouldn't it be funny if he came in here? And it wasn't funny when he came in there. Okay, so this is real. At this point, I am on the front lawn of my company, and this car rolls up, and this guy gets out, and he is gigantic, right? He's wearing shorts, he's wearing a tank top, he's stretched, limber, ready for murder, right? His pants just covered in piss, right? He's angry. And he looks at me, and he goes, hey, you got something to say? You can say it to my face. I had nothing to say. He says it again. I'm quiet, right? I'm terrified. At this point in my head, I was like, just turn and run. Like, if you can get in the building, you're going to be safe, right? So I turn, and this guy goes, no. Hey, you got something to say? You can say it right here, right now, to my face. And finally, I was like, hey, man, I don't know what's going on, okay? I don't know why you're so upset. If I did something to upset you, okay? If you could please leave me alone, all right? I'm a single mom, okay? I've got a beautiful girlfriend/daughter at home. I'm not, we're defining it. So... And then he looked at me. This is true. This next part is true. It was very, very quiet. We're staring at each other. And then this man goes, okay, I'm going to let you go. It's a good day. It's Friday. And then he got into his car, and he drove away, right? And to you guys, that's a scary story. But to me, that's the most magnificent TGIF of my life. I mean, thank God it was Friday, you know what I mean? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm a dead man. But that guy had cool weekend plans, right? He's like, I can't kill this child, right? I told my parents that story. They didn't like it. They were like, this LA adventure is over. Come home right now. I didn't like it, because I'm an only child. So if I die, that's sort of it for my parents, right? They're done. They're done as parents. That's true. And that's a lot of responsibility, being an only child. It is. And it's not fun. Like, the only thing that is worse than being an only child is telling people that you're an only child. Because every time I've ever mentioned it, there's always one person that's like, yeah, that makes sense. What is that? That's not nice. No one's ever been kind about it, you know? No one's ever been like, you're an only... Deborah, get up. You're an only child? You know what? That makes sense. You're like fierce, sneaky, and independent. March to your own beat. No, it's always like, oh, you're an only child? Yeah, that makes sense. You're very loud and selfish. That makes a lot of sense. I think the one thing that you can assume about only children, and this is fair, is that we have big imaginations because we're alone for our entire childhood. And even then, I had a weird imagination growing up. So, like, I used to come home from school and I would make a meal for myself called a Cinnison. And if you don't know what that is, and you don't because I created it, a Cinnison is when you take a cinnamon bun and you rip it apart into tiny little flakes, and you arrange those flakes around the perimeter of the plate, like the rays of a sun, and you put a bowl of milk symbolizing the core in the middle. It's some real fat kid shit, I know that. All right? But I did it every day. And I would come home from school and I would pretend to be like a disgruntled chef on my last Cinnison of the day. That's a fucked up fantasy for a 7-year-old, you know what I mean? Most children come home and they pretend to like fight dinosaurs or explore space, and I came home and I was like, I guess this is my legacy! And then I would serve it to myself, but I was always a dick about it. I'd take it downstairs and I'd be like, this is cold, take it back! And then I would eat it alone in the kitchen. I'm an actor, those are my given circumstances, so I went in with it.
Been together 8 years.
Yes, it's been fun. Like, you know, I think he worded it pretty good. Like, I used to go to the office every single day, so that was kind of like a drag. And, you know, being able to spend more time at home has been cool, and spend more time with him, just like kind of seeing each other and our work elements a little bit more has been kind of different, but I think it's a good thing. It's been cool.
After this, I'll be on my way to go get her a ring, just because quarantine has been pretty cool. So I'm like, man, I want to be with this. I want to give her the ring. Why not? So that's a pretty crazy life decision, right?
My girlfriend doesn't understand it at all. Right? We have very different upbringings, completely different. So I'm an only child. She grew up in a large Jewish family. It's very different. And if you're wondering why I decided to highlight Jewish, it's because if you are not Jewish and you happen to be dating somebody who is chosen, people feel very comfortable letting you know how they feel about your relationship. So like when we first started dating, I remember I was getting coffee with some family friends, and it came up in conversation that Hannah is Jewish. Normally, I should say that. It was all very normal. I wasn't like, boys, you're not going to believe this. Gather around. It was very normal. But somebody at the table heard, and they popped their head up very casually, and they said, oh, Jewish? That's good with their finances. Yeah, okay, cool. We're all on the same page. I didn't know what to do there, right? I don't have any experience growing up with religion, and they kind of coded it like a compliment. Like, what am I supposed to do there? I can't slam my hand down on a table and be like, hey, excuse me. Some Jews are very stupid with their finances. Some of them are idiots. I just froze. I didn't do anything. I felt so bad, you know? I don't have any experience with religion, so I black out when people bring it up, you know? And it's crazy because Hannah grew up with 2 religions, and that's always been confusing. She follows both of them to this day, right? So I grew up agnostic. Hannah grew up Jewish and Disney, which is just a way more dangerous religion. We got to talk about that one, right? Have you ever met anybody that's Disney before? Holy shit. Oh my God. We talk about religious extremism in this country, right? My girlfriend and her entire family would die for the magical kingdom. Do you understand? That cartoon mouse could come on a television screen and be like, bomb a bank, and they would do it, you know? Kill them all, ho ho ho. COVID's not real, come into the park, oh boy. They would do it. It's terrifying, you know? I'm so scared, you know, because if we ever have kids, they're going to be Disney kids, because it goes through the mom. I was a Nickelodeon kid growing up, though, and those are very different children entirely. You know, like a Nickelodeon kid to a Disney kid is a lot like me saying, yeah, I used to freebase heroin when I was 11. Is that weird? Is that odd? I don't know. Is that weird? Did you not? You ever ask a Disney kid to describe their favorite television shows? It's incredible. Their eyes light up, and they're always like, my favorite show? My favorite show is about a family that had some problems, and then they were a family again. What about you, Nickelodeon? It's always some kid like smoking a cigarette in the background. He's always like, yeah, my favorite show is it's called Rugrats. It's about babies and their negligent parents. So that's family, I guess, right? Great one. We have very different cultures, she and I. You know, it comes from my end too, right? I'm Italian. That's very hard to deal with. We're a very wild people, and I'm very Italian. My mom was born and raised in Italy, and I know what you're thinking. I don't look Italian at all, right? I sort of look like I grew up in Billy Elliot's hometown. I understand that. I know what I look like. It was so much worse when I was younger, too. My hair used to be a lot redder. My arms, you can see, they're very freckly, right? And my mom was always so scared about me growing up. So, like, one time when I was in college, my mom called me, and I picked up the phone. And she said, Nick, have you heard the news? It's beat up a ginger day on Facebook. They've already beaten one up. You stay inside. And then she just hung up the phone. You know, I don't know how many of you guys have ever heard anybody with a heavy accent scream the word stay inside and then hang up a telephone. It's a uniquely chilling experience. It's horrifying, you know? And my mom is a smart person. My mom is a college professor. She's accomplished so much in her life, right? But she's so worried about my well-being that she entertained the notion that an anti-ginger hit squad was roaming the mean streets of Ann Arbor, Michigan with the sole purpose of murdering her only child. You know, and the biggest problem is, like, I believed everything she was saying. I was like, Mama, what's going on? I will stay inside, Mama, forever, how long you need. I realized this recently. I have an implicit trust in moms with accents. I do. You know, immigrant moms are the most powerful type of human being in this country, hands down. Oh my God. They are. You know, they've gone through so much to get here. They come from countries that are much older than this one. A lot of them are superstitious and vague and often threatening manners. It's so scary. Like one time I was sitting on my bed, there was a hat next to me. I didn't think this was a big deal. My mom walked into my room. She saw the hat on my bed. She froze and she said, never leave a hat on a bed. And I was like, what? And then she stared at me quietly, and then she just walked away. No explanation at all. Just an unknown pool of fear from that woman, okay? I am 30 years old. I have never left a hat on a bed since. I have no idea why. My girlfriend left a hat on the bed one time, and I was like, "You take that off." We don't need an Italian witch visiting us at night, okay? I don't know what happens. That's a foreign mom power, okay? American moms, they don't have that power. I'm sorry. They don't. Like, if somebody introduced me to their American mom and they were like, hey, this is my mom. Her name's Kathy. She's got a weird superstition about wearing red shoes on a Sunday. I'd be like, shut up, Kathy, all right? Shut your fucking mouth. But if my mom, like, appeared from the shadows and she was like, never wear red shoes on a Sunday, I would never wear red shoes for the rest of my goddamn life, okay? I'm so scared. And I gotta say, at the end of the day, I do really respect that, and I look up to her a lot, you know? Because if anything, my goal is that I get to be half as good of a mom to my girlfriend. Do you know what I mean? We're working on it. We're working on it, you know? She's wonderful. We're working on it.
There's a woman named Jan Jeter, dancer, that I know from high school. And we were, so I'm from Chicago originally. I was in a dance troupe in high school. I started dancing when I was 13. So I've been doing this whole game. I'm 56 now, so it's been a bunch of years. But Jan Jeter and I were in dance class together. It was called Guys and Dolls. I reached out to Jan. It was like, hey, how are you? You know, because I think, I mean, everybody's sort of in their own way of that, but, you know, it definitely is about, like, even if there's not been constant communication, there are people that for all of us still mean a lot to us. And I think the beauty of this time has been the humanity union that's coming to form in a way that we've never experienced before.
We move so fast as a people, right? It's everybody wants like the ending. Nobody's curious about the journey right now, and that's kind of a bummer. Because we move to things so quickly. Like robots. Why do we want to mess with robots? Has anybody thought about that? Right? What about robots or humans has made us think that we're going to handle it well? That's scary to me. Like Microsoft came out with a Twitter bot, and you could tweet to it, and it would tweet back to you based on things around the internet, right? It's like the beginning form of artificial intelligence. They had to shut that Twitter bot down because it had tweeted over 90,000 times and it had become a neo-Nazi sympathizer. Okay? That's true. You can look that shit up, okay? We gave life to a robot for less than 1 day and it was just like, Jews, good with their finances. How scary is that shit, right? That's going to be the next thing, I guarantee you. That's going to be the next big protest in like 5 years. It'll be robots. I think that is the one thing that we are doing really well right now, and I'm super proud of that. People are protesting for things that they believe in right now. I know people in this building have been to protests. I have been to protests. Black Lives Matter. That's not a joke. That's just a statement. Okay? And if you're not going to a protest right now because of COVID and you're nervous, that's fine, because it's very easy to protest online, right? But if you do protest online, I respectfully ask you to go the full mile. You know? Because it's very easy, because we're always like, hey, sign this petition. You're like, I can click that button. You're like, okay, well, how about you send this email? Absolutely. Okay, share this status on Facebook. Okay, absolutely. How about you unsubscribe from Amazon? Well, you know, I think that we need to know more of the facts before we do something drastic. You know, they deliver packages very fast, so that is a bit of a deal breaker. People need creature comforts. I get it, especially right now. I think that that's an important thing. Like, I'm really jealous of people that can smoke weed during this. I think that that's amazing. I'm not a weed smoker. I'm not against it. Like, smoke all the weed you want. It's just not for me. Like, every time I've ever smoked weed in my life, my brain is like, remember all those weird things you said in middle school? Well, we're playing those hits all night. It sucks. My friends always want to get high. We'd always used to go to parties, and my friends would be like, let's get high. And then we'd do it, and they'd be in one corner just, like, laughing, having the time of their life. And I'd be in the other corner like, is everybody mad at me? Have they always been mad at me? Don't ask. My brain would be like, all that and more for the next 4 hours.
I guess it makes you want to realize friendships more, keep in touch with people instead of just texting, keep in touch with your family, with my mom, my nieces and nephews, my sisters.
For a little while, I kind of like withdrew a little bit, from, just being so active as a faculty member and so on. And I started suddenly talking to everyone, like, for example, my neighbors, and I even reconnected to Lam. In a way,
she never spoke to me, by the way.
Before, yes, absolutely. But, since you're asking about specific person, uncannily so, I reconnected with my father, to whom I never spoke very much. My father and I had a very kind of like turbulent relationship, to put it mildly. But so interesting, now during COVID, we started talking every week.
It's the worst. I'm not a weed guy. I'm not really a drug guy either, which sucks because I am a comedian, and comedians love drugs. It's a great way to meet comics. It's not for a lack of trying, though. I have tried them, right? Like, I tried cocaine once. That was a huge mistake on my part. I should not have done that. It was one time. It was not good. I didn't even try it at like a cool. It wasn't like for my friends in the Midwest. I wasn't like at like an LA party with like a famous person. I fell asleep at a John Wick movie marathon, and I woke up during John Wick 2. And my friend saw me, and he was like, hey, man, you're looking kind of tired. Would you like to try some cocaine? Which, first of all, what an overshot of a solution to that problem. Right? There was coffee right there. That'd be like if I had to go to the grocery store and my friend was like, I have my car or this surfboard with rockets, you know? You might die, but you're going to have a lot of fun, bud. So I was nervous. So I was like, I'm gonna do the dip and slip, like how cops do in TV shows. You know where you dip your fingers into cocaine and then you rub it? This is relatable material, right, everyone? Where you dip in, right? So I dip my fingers into cocaine, the whole neighborhood to hear. Who's all listening to this? What if I got arrested? What if I got a great ending? The Monty Python ending to this show. So I dipped my fingers into cocaine, and then I rubbed them on my gums. And I will say, cocaine tastes like evil sand. It is disgusting. It is so gross. It's like the scotch of drugs. It's filthy. Oh my God. And so I was like, okay, all right, let's do it for real, because it didn't do anything for me. Like, let's try it. And my friend got very excited, right? His eyes got very big, and he disappeared, and he came back with a bunch of tiny little straws. And at this point, I was like, oh, this was never about me being awake, right? I'm supporting a habit. And so we laid out the line of cocaine. And for the first and only time in my life, I took a little straw, and I snorted up a line, and then I immediately fell right back to sleep. What? Do you know what that says about my anxiety, that I tried cocaine and my body was like, soothing? What is this called? Cocaine? I'm going to get a couple bottles of this. I went right to bed. My mom hates that joke. She's watching right now on FaceTime. She said, don't tell the joke. No, my child. Yeah, I tried it. Didn't work for me, you know. My mom, she doesn't like that joke. My dad is sort of like nonplussed about it. Like, he thinks it's very funny, you know. Because my mom grew up in Italy, but my dad grew up in the United States. And my dad grew up in the U.S. during the 1960s and the 1970s. And I don't know if you've ever met anybody that grew up in the United States during the 60s and the 70s, but it sort of sounds like there was no law in this entire country. It's crazy. Oh my God, it just, whenever someone talks about the 60s or the 70s, it just sounds like a barbecue went down for 20 fucking years. It's not like everybody had a pontoon boat and a muscle car, and they're like, oh, fuck yeah, it rocks. And you're like, what? It's nuts. I watched that movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with my dad. It's set in 1969. My dad, he was like high off of this movie. It was crazy. For 3 hours, I listened to my dad. This is all he did. He just went like this. He went, oh yeah. I remember that car. At one point we were watching, and Brad Pitt's like weaving in and out through traffic. He's probably drunk, because like nobody gave a shit back then, right? And Bob Seger is playing on the radio. And Bob Seger is like the king of Michigan. And that's where my dad and I were both born and raised. And my dad, just in like a total daze, looks over at me and he goes, you know, Bob Seger stayed in Michigan for his entire career. Isn't that incredible? And I was like, did you know that there's a plot to this fucking movie, Chuck? All right? This isn't a yearbook. That's how they get about it. It's so nuts. My girlfriend's mom, she told me a fun story of after a night of drinking with her friends, she woke up in the back of her friend's car as it was rolling into a lake, and there was no driver. Okay? What happened back then? That might be my kid's grandmother one day. Do you understand? My parents had that shit so easy. If I ever asked my grandma, like, Grandma, what's the craziest thing you ever did? My grandma would be like, one time I listened to a record after 10 o'clock. Bad girl alert. My kid's grandma's going to be like, get over here, you fucking nerd. Let's get high. She's a very nice woman. This is crazy. You know? And they're going to ask me about it. And that's when I'm most nervous as a parent. You know, because they're going to come up to me and they're going to be like, Dad, is that story about Grandma true? I'd be like, yeah, both of your grandmothers are geniuses. They're very cool. They're badasses. And they'd be like, what about you, Dad? I'd be like, what about me? And they'd be like, well, what did you do when you were younger? Were you cool? And I'll be like, well. You'd be like, did you ever get in any fights? And I'll be like, not successfully, you know. And they'd be like, did you ever do any drugs? I'm like, you know, not successfully. And they'd be like, well, did you do anything that you're proud of, Dad, when you were younger? And I'll know the answer. I'll take my time with this one, you know. I'll look down, and then I'll look back up. And I'll be like, well, kids, do you know how men are more comfortable peeing sitting down these days? Well, your father started that revolution with a comedy special. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
The message I would send out to the world is please be considerate of your other human beings. Not just your friends and family, but all human beings. We're all one giant family.
We are all intricately, deeply, vitally interconnected.
Be kind, you know, be good to one another, be just a good person.
Remember what you're made of and look at the examples of how you've already achieved.
I just want to say thank you to John Zucker, our director, Mark Sandoval, Greg Hollander, Zach Foster, Alex Tarzan, Billy Jackson, all my neighbors at 4601. I love you so much. Mom, Dad, Hannah, I love you guys. Wally, it's all for you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. That's it. We're done.
Congratulations, man.
Why are you doing this?
I don't have anything truly of large proportion in comedy. I don't know if I'm going to have a career after this, and I'm 30. So, you know, why not?
All right, we got it.